In today's top stories that you will never see on the live stream corrupt, woke, fake mafia media news, I'm going to be covering a lot. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, your favorite snack. I, Professor Nez, have got you covered. I'm going to share with you something absolutely glorious. Somebody who Dana White calls the greatest of all time, John Jones, celebrating his huge win at UFC and actually doing this to President Trump. He actually gives him his championship belt and then gets the entire crowd going absolutely ballistic. You have to see this absolutely incredible footage. We're going to be talking about the New York Times fact checking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the most bizarre, precarious, strange way. We're going to talk about that. Joyless Reed says, no, we're not going to come together, saying, I guess, apparently that she speaks on behalf of the Dems in a very controversial excerpt on her failing, cratering show on MSNBC, pretty much sowing dissension and divisiveness. And then we're also going to talk about John Fetterman going on fake Tapper CNN broadcast and essentially admitting that the Dems don't care about cheating and they don't care about lying. But first, you know him, I know him, we all can't stand him. He's destroying my great state of California. Gavin Greasy Newsom just purchased this. Check this out. A $9.1 million home in one of the most of affluent areas in Marin County to split time between the Bay Area and Sacramento. He actually paid 7% over the cost of the asking price, which, if you know anything about real estate, that's a bit bizarre and strange, especially given the fact that he is functioning on a government salary. It doesn't add up, folks. How in the world can this man afford a $9.1 million home on a government salary whose max is $200,000 a year? And, you know, I shared you a video of him walking through Skid Row and absolutely being destroyed and heckled. If you haven't seen that video, go on my channel. I'll leave it at the end screen. But just go on my YouTube channel and you can check that out. It is absolutely glorious to see Skid Row completely heckle Gavin Newsom as he tries really, really hard to ignore them and look cool. The walking haircut that passes off as a man. But I have an even more sincere question for Gavin Newsom and for everybody who's watching. Not only, you know, is it beyond a doubt that there's no way a government salary could afford a home like this, but here's an even more sincere question. In that affluent area of Kentfield, how many homeless encampments do you think there are there? Oh, and if you needed a reminder that Gavin Newsom is the most deceitful, dishonest, corrupt piece of garbage that ever entered politics besides Kamala. They literally talk the same exact way. Listen to this word salad where he says it's not our fault for any of the policies that we've implemented. If you can believe this, check this out.
And I say this with love and admiration as a former supervisor and mayor. It's not the state's job to realize the state's vision. The state vision is realized locally. Localism is determinative. It is bottom up, not top down. And that's incredibly important.
That's incredibly important that you understand that Gavin Newsom is the reason why this state, my glorious home state of California, is an absolute crap hole and is deteriorating and has the worst economic deficit, has the worst illegal border crossings, has the worst exodus of small businesses and residents, and the list goes on and on. How'd you like that word salad, my fellow Americans? You thought Kamala was bad. Okay, in other bizarre news, the New York Times is absolutely going viral all over the internet for this fact checked on RFK Jr. Check this out. This is an excerpt of what they said. Mr. Kennedy, again, they're all attacking him because Trump has named him the director of Health and Human Services, which essentially oversees the FDA, the CDC, all of the governing bodies that have to do with our health, our food, etc. Mr. Kennedy has singled out Fruit Loops as an example of a product with too many artificial ingredients. questioning why the Canadian version has fewer than the US version. But he was wrong. The ingredient list is roughly the same, although Canada's has natural colorings made from blueberries and carrots, while the US product contains red dye 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, as well as butylated hydroxytoluene, or BHT. I mean, if you can't pronounce it, I mean, it's ridiculous. A lab-made chemical that is used, quote, for freshness, according to the ingredient label. Well, by all means, if that's all it is, it's just fake dye, fake coloring, and some lab-made chemical. How dare you, RFK Jr., even think to compare the two? I mean, my fellow Americans, this is exactly why the absolute vanity, the out-of-depthness, out of touch of the live stream media is so totally and completely absurd. They're actually arguing that RFK Jr. has no right to make that comparison, that RFK Jr. is completely out of his element when they're justifying putting these chemicals that you can't even pronounce into our kids' foods. They really think that was a strong argument. It's just a lab-made chemical that nobody can pronounce, that has no business, that's banned in literally 40 countries, first world democracies out there except for ours. What's wrong with you, RFK Jr.? Make it make sense, my fellow Americans. Make it make sense. Am I nuts? Look, I'm by no means a medical practitioner. I'm by no means a food and nutrition specialist. But for the love of God, I don't think it takes anything more than just simple, practical common sense to see those things don't belong in our food, especially food that is consumed mostly by children. Okay, in our next story here, Joyless Reed, probably the most talentless hack DEI hire. She is the personification, along with Worthless Whoopi and the gaggle of menopausal airheads that run The View. They should both be canceled. They should both be completely taken off the air because they have absolutely zero positive, zero contributory or participatory evidence, substantive journalism, substantive reporting to offer the American public at all. She's even gone one step further. Not only by denying the American people who have spoken on November 5th, not even, reaching out like Biden did and saying, hey, okay, you won, man. Let's work together. She goes the antithetical way, the complete opposite. Listen to this drip.
It is a common feature of authoritarianism and fascism that the nation is called to come together under the autocrat and accept that his incompetent lackeys are our betters. The idea that any random white guy or right-thinking woman with zero background is inherently superior to any black person or woman, no matter how many degrees or qualifications they have, is a conceit of fascism and ethno-nationalism that, no, we cannot come together around.
We can't come together, says Joyless Reed. Isn't it funny how the two most miserable women on the planet, Joy Behar and Joy Reid, are both named Joy? Is that just a weird coincidence? Just one of those like universal ironies that just, I don't know. It just reeks of paradox and truth. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. But it's funny how she says that, the conceits of race and discrimination, that's exactly what DEI is. That's exactly what DEI is. And Trump has never said anything like that. The platform, the party that the American people has chosen, the Senate, the House, the president, the executive branch that the American people have chosen has zero to do with that, Joyless Reed. You're just perpetuating lies, and that's why your ratings are going down, plummeting to the ground, and you're going to be canceled very, very soon. It's all over, Joyless Reed. Your vitriol, your hate, your lies, your divisiveness, your misery is no longer tenable. Your misery is no longer entertaining. It's just really sad and pathetic at this point. But I would love to get your thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments. Okay, now this was a story that I covered yesterday in Bucks County where you had this councilwoman basically saying we're not going to follow the law, even though the Supreme Court says you cannot count these illegal ballots. You cannot count these ballots that don't have dates on them. You cannot count these ballots after the election is essentially over. Listen to what Fake Tapper actually pointing this out to Senator John Fetterman. Listen to his really shocking, surprising response to this. Listen.
Behind Dave McCormick, Democratic officials in at least one key county, Bucks County, voted to count about 115 provisional ballots that are missing a signature despite the Pennsylvania Supreme Court previously ruling that those are invalid. I want you to take a listen to how one Democratic Bucks County commissioner justified her actions.
I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
So the Washington Post editorial board called that, quote, corrosive to democracy, unquote, and said, quote, county officials do not get to decide whether a legal requirement is material and must be followed. Courts do, and they have spoken clearly, unquote. What's your take? What's your response to that Democratic official deliberately announcing that they're going to defy court orders and count these provisional ballots?
Well, again, I'm not going to chase every kinds of quotes, things like that, because I think you just pointed out that it refers to about 115 ballots, and that's not going to have an impact on this race at this point. So where we are now? It's very, very close, and I guarantee you, if Dave McCormick were in the opposite...
Oh, it's only 115 ballots. So what? We're breaking the law. We're defying the Constitution. We're defying the higher courts. We're defying law and order. Who cares? We're the Democrats. That's what we do. Now, I know Fetterman is probably not the greatest spokesperson for the party, and he's got a lot of issues we don't have enough time to get into. But I think it's demonstrative of how the entire party has really conducted themselves, especially over the last, 12, maybe 8, 16 years even, even when Obama was in office, who defied all sorts of laws. I'm not going to get into Snowden and Julian Assange, et cetera, et cetera. But all of the back channels and illegalities that was committed by Obama maybe has set sort of the stage for what we're seeing now. Never mind the fact that they executed a coup on Joe Biden. Never mind the fact that they installed a puppet without 0 votes, 0 delegations, 0 primary. I'm talking about Kamala. It's all over, Kamala. That is a very shocking thing to say outright and just openly admit it live on national television on Fake Tapper and say, it doesn't really matter. We broke the law. We're not going to listen to the law. We do whatever we want. It's only 115 votes. I mean, that's nothing. And we know all the data, the last couple of elections have showed us conclusively, some of these swing states have come down to literally a few thousand votes, if not less. So for him to say that publicly and openly is, I want to say it's not shocking, because I'm not really shocked, but you're not going to see this anywhere else, which is why I want you to tap the thumbs up and share this everywhere. Oh, by the way, because I'm love this new thing I'm doing on the channel. I love hearing from the new people too. I love the OGs. I love the original viewers. I love you guys so much more than anything, but I love hearing about the new people too. Let me know if you're new and you're just kind of checking us out. Let me know where you're joining us from too, what city, what state, what country. I love hearing from you guys. So let me know where you're joining from, and if you're new, I would really, really love to hear that. Thank you so much. Okay, now for some fun stuff. Look at this amazing picture right here of all the gladiators, the Trump Avengers, the people who are going to iconically change the very fabric of our nation, return it to its glory. This is what I've called in previous videos, the American Revolution 2.0. Look at this amazing picture. Let me know in the comments what you think of this amazing picture. And also, who do you think doesn't belong there? Hint, hint. Donald Trump took RFK Jr. and the gang, Elon Musk, everybody, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek, to Dana White's UFC fight with John Jones, where John Jones defeated and just won in an amazing fashion. And then John Jones did the ultimate, unbelievable act of doing this. First, I want to show you the actual, ending of it and what he did right after. Check this. How amazing is that? Does the Trump dance, the GOAT, somebody who Dana White has called the greatest of all time, the undefeated John Jones. And then watch this. This is literally the most ultimate special gift you could ever do as a fighter. He walks over to Trump and gives him his championship belt. Watch this. I can't play the audio because of the music, but he screams. He says, yeah, yeah. You can see Elon Musk cheering right there. How cool is that? He screams really loudly, and then he bows down to Trump right there. Look how cool that is. Elon Musk is there watching. The whole Gladiator Avenger crew is there watching, and they have a beautiful special moment right there. Trump holds his hand for a very long time. How cool is that? Hands him his championship belt. That smile on Trump's face. And then, as if you couldn't love this guy anymore, watch what he says in the post-fight interview with Rogan. My fellow Americans, isn't that just absolutely fantastic? Was it worth waiting to see that, or was it worth waiting? Let me know in the comments. I'm proud to be an American, he says. I'm proud to be a Christian American. And he's obviously proud, getting the whole crowd to say USA. We need more of that in this country. What Donald Trump has said, I did a video yesterday, what he's going to do with the Department of Education, because that's where it all starts. We need to start teaching our kids that they're living in the greatest country on earth. I can say this as a professor. I've had firsthand experience. That is the exact opposite of what they're being told every single day. They're being told essentially that America is this greedy, corrupt place. And yes, there are instances of that, but it's still the greatest country on earth. There's so much hate coming from these woke professors, woke universities, woke administrators, woke deans and chairs and university presidents, et cetera, that it's no wonder when these kids walk out of college, they're unemployable. They're lost, confused, frustrated, depressed, anxietal, and they hate our country. I mean, there's no big surprise there. We need more of that. We need more of John Jones. And my fellow Americans, it's coming. Ugh, gets me so excited. Gets me so riled up. You have no idea. The dark ages are over. We are headed for prosperity, the likes we've never seen. Give me a thumbs up. Share this with everybody. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. You're going to love these videos, especially if you missed the one where Trump talks about his education plan. Watch that. Tap my face right there. Subscribe, follow. In the pinned comment is our free newsletter. Sign up for that. It's free, so you never miss out. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA. I'll see you soon.